This is Hannibal back here from the HannibalTV.com. I watched the second episode of season 4 of Dark Side of the Ring tonight. It aired Tuesday night on Vice. It airs on Crave TV in Canada. The episode I'm in is July 25th, the Abdullah the Butcher episode. I have to say, although I like Magnum TA, I've got a lot of footage of him on this channel, and I've liked my interactions with him. Tonight's episode, where if you're a viewer not familiar with his story, it's quite a story. As someone very familiar with his story, there wasn't much new to it other than the wife that he was with talked about it for the first time that I'm aware of. And I've seen a lot of DVDs about the situation and lots of shoot interviews. This was his ex-wife that mentioned that I guess the big dark side of it, which this Magnum is a pretty good role model overall, particularly how he's overcome his disabilities. And he admits that this was a mistake, but when he was in his prime, because for some reason, if you're a wrestler, particularly in the 80s and 90s and even into the early 2000s, you're not cool unless you're cheating on your wife. It's just the way the business was. And he, I guess, ended up cheating on his wife. She found out about it because he had, I guess, some pictures in his suitcase or whatever. She stayed with him through the time he was in the hospital, and then she eventually didn't stay with him. So other than that, there wasn't much new to it. You had Tony Schiavone. The other thing that was kind of cool seeing was the footage of Tony Schiavone when he was young, talking about it in NWA. Sorry, my phone's going off. But because he looks way different now, he's gained weight, and obviously he doesn't have. He was actually looked pretty good looking back then, which he wouldn't be considered that now. He still works in professional wrestling. He's a producer and commentator for AEW. It was good. Nothing bad to say about it, other than it wasn't as juicy as the Chris and Tammy one that we heard about last week, which was like it had a lot more gossip and like crazy tales in it. I did actually watch Sunny talking about her affair with Shawn Michaels in an interview coincidentally today. I clicked on the link after because I was interested in hearing more about it after watching last week's Dark Side of the Ring. And in that interview, which I hadn't seen this one before, she had alleged that she was broken up with Chris at the time, but nobody knew they were broken up, and she alleged that at no point in time did Chris ever know about the affair. And I guess this was recorded after Chris died, and she also said that Shawn Michaels had invited her to move in with him in a new house he was having built in San Antonio, but she chose to go back with Chris. And she claimed in this interview that Shawn Michaels ended up getting with that Nitro girl that he ended up marrying within like a month after, and she ended up living in that house with Shawn. So who knows? I'd give that story about as much credibility as Sunny saying that she never had sex with Brett. Don't mean to digress from the Magnum TA one. They never. One thing I found interesting always, and I know I'm like a gossip person and I like to know the dirt of stuff in wrestling that they didn't get into in this. I don't think, unless I blanked out during this part. But I asked Tully about it, and Tully didn't know. How did Magnum TA end up marrying Tully Blanchard's ex-wife? what was the story there? Because Magnum, and they didn't really enlighten me. Maybe I didn't see this part. I don't know, but from what I could tell, there wasn't much about like Tessa being Tully's son and his stepdaughter. I find that's pretty interesting. What's on my lip? Greek yogurt. Sorry, I didn't know I had it. I was sharing fruit salad and Greek yogurt with Piper, who's sound asleep here. There's a lot of fires going on around here for people that don't know, which I'm sure the Americans and other people watching this don't know. Like in Ontario and Quebec, there's massive fires going on, and there's a lot of fog in the air. So poor Piper, I think she's having more problems than normal breathing tonight because of this fog. So I'm gonna shut my windows after this. Not fog, but like this poor air quality from all the smoke and debris from these fires. So to shut this down, God bless everyone affected by these fires. They're not close enough to affect me other than the air quality. But sorry, I can't help but think about all the tragedy related to these fires going on in Canada right now. And yes, Greek yogurt I eat a lot of, cottage cheese I eat a lot of, on fruit. Good protein and good bacteria for your stomach. Have a good night. Looking forward to next week's Dark Side of the Ring.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the